from the Ticats Audio Network. This is Ticats Today with Louie Butko.
Yes, it is Ticats Today for a Tuesday, October the 4th, 2022. Thanks for checking us out here on the Ticats Audio Network. Louie Butko here with you, getting you set for Friday's game, Ticats, Saskatchewan. Yeah, this one, a big one for the Tiger Cats as of right now. It is the Saskatchewan Roughriders currently holding the third playoff spot in the East Division. That's due to the crossover. Yeah, they have a better record than the Ticats. However, the Ticats have a game in hand. Saskatchewan's played 15. Ticats have played 14. If the Ticats win this one, they'll move up to 10 points with a game in hand, 2 points back, and Saskatchewan has to finish with an outright better record than the Ticats do. So this is a huge game coming on this Friday, and hopefully you can join us. Ticats.ca/tickets is where you can go to find your tickets, and hopefully you can join us for the game, of course, but also for the Wall of Honor induction ceremony, the dinner that's happening the night before on Thursday, and again, Ticats.ca for details on that one. Coming up on today's show, we got a busy one. We'll hear from Coach O in just a second. We'll hear from Micah Johnson, and we'll hear from Tyler Ternowski as well. And later on, we'll be joined by the Hamilton Spectator, Steve Milton, to get us set for this huge game on Friday. In the meantime, during practice, a couple of transactions coming down the pike here for the Ticats. One of them, they announced that they've acquired American defensive lineman Cedric Wilcox II from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in exchange for American defensive back Alden Darby Jr. Yeah, Alden Darby Jr., who signed with the Ticats this offseason, going back to Saskatchewan, where he spent the last 2 seasons. In the meantime, Ticats getting back Hendrick Wilcox II. He's 25. He's suited up in 10 games this season for the Blue Bombers, where he's got 2 defensive tackles in those games. He's a native of Dallas, Texas. Played 3 seasons at New Mexico State University. So that was one transaction the Ticats announced during practice today. The other, they've signed American defensive lineman, McKinley Williams. The 24-year-old most recently spent time with the NFL's Indianapolis Colts. He's a native of Florida. He played 61 games over 6 seasons at Syracuse. So Ticats staying busy during practice, bringing in a couple of bodies and sending Alden Darby Jr. to Winnipeg. So for more on that, let's hear from the head coach and president of football operations. I asked him about these 2 transactions off the top, starting with the Wilcox acquisition.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that has proven he can impact games. He's a guy that obviously is well thought of in that organization, and some of these things don't happen exactly the way you envision it. I'm not going to get into the details of how everything went down, but he was a player that obviously was involved, and so we're excited to acquire him. Yeah, so again, we're always looking to add depth and bring in people to compete, and he's a guy that's been on the radar for a little while. The personnel department had him ID'd early on, and sometimes it's just a matter of when they're willing to come up. It's not, you can want somebody for a long time, a year, 2 years, 2 months. It doesn't mean that they're willing or their agents are willing to bring them up. So there's so many other things that go into it. It just so happened we were able to hit on this one at this time also. They're going to be prepared. They're going to play hard. They're going to be exactly what they put on tape. I think they're well coached. They're going to pull out all the stops, and that's what we expect from them. It's always that battle, and past that, the focus comes right back to ourselves. So we know what we're in store for, and looking forward to the challenge. Absolutely, there's urgency. We understand. There's less and less games available. And it's time we win. That's what it is. So absolutely, there's urgency. Yeah, just first of all, congratulations, Danny. He's been a great friend over the years, and obviously he was a great teammate. We had a lot of great leaders on that 98, 99 Grey Cup teams, but there's one player that we wouldn't have won it without, and that's Danny. And he just was a unique leader, a unique person. He was fun. He was business. He never wanted to be in front of the lines. He never shied away from competition. He'd take hits. He'd always take the blame. Always give credit. or he would always take the blame, and he just wouldn't take credit. So it's well deserved, and it's not just deserved; it's earned. He earned this, and so I'm excited for him and his family, and he's going to be etched into Hamilton history, and he deserves it. He totally deserves it. So I'm excited for him, and I know if you went up here and you rattled everybody through that played with him, they'd echo that same sentiment in their own ways. So yeah, congratulations, Danny, and I'm super excited for him.
That is Orlando Steinauer, head coach, president of football operations, as we caught up with him after practice. And just a reminder, full scrums available at ticats.ca. And ticats.ca, he mentioned Danny Mac there at the end, is where you can find tickets for Thursday's Wall of Honor induction ceremony. Hopefully you can join us. A lot of alumni scheduled to attend, including a rumor going around. Darren Flutie will be there. And if you follow Darren Flutie, he has not been back in a very long time, so it would be a big deal to get to see him. And tons of other alumni. The 72 team will celebrate their 50th reunion. And again, ticats.ca is where you can go for tickets for that dinner and for the game, because as we mentioned, it is a huge game this week happening with the Ticats and Rough Riders Friday. Should be a good one. And ticats.ca/tickets. Hopefully you can join us then. Hey, Ticats fans, it's time to ride on our strength. From now until October 13th, purchase 4 eligible Hercules passenger or light truck tires to receive a $100 Ticats rewards card and be entered to win our road trip sweepstakes, available at participating Active Green and Ross, Ontario locations, or visit HerculesTires.com/AGR rewards. All right, back to post-practice. We had a chance to catch up with Micah Johnson. And the one message I've been hearing a lot lately is that, this is a 4-10 football team, but it doesn't feel like a 4-10 football team, especially around the locker room, in and outside of the stadium here. So I asked Micah Johnson about that, whether this is a 4-10 football team. Here's what he had to say.
I mean, we are a 4-10 football team. I don't think, we can run from that reality, but it's just we still believe we're a good football team. We're a capable football team. The amount of work you put in, all the blood, sweat, and tears, it doesn't guarantee you wins on Fridays and Saturdays, but we know we work every week, so we just bank on ourselves, and we understand how much we work, and we bank on the work. That's going to get us some wins. We just have to continue to do it. So, I mean, guys work hard every week. Guys are dialed in. Guys are focused. We haven't got the good breaks this year. We've had a lot of issues, but at the end of the day, we still believe in the talent on the team. We still believe in the guys in the locker room. We just have to learn how to finish. I mean, it's almost impossible not to look at it like a playoff game, you know what I mean? We're going to keep fighting and clawing, until we're eliminated. And even if that was happening, we still fight and claw. But at the end of the day, we're still alive, so we're coming in. SAS is the next game. They're the ones we have to go through. So for us, man, we just got to, keep pounding, keep grinding, and just try to limit the self-inflicted mistakes. I kind of feel like that's haunted us a lot of times this year. A lot of times we beat ourselves, not to take nothing away from any other team, but it's just facts. I think it just starts with the coaching staff. Coach O does a great job laying the foundation every day, talking to us. It's great leadership from up top with Coach O. So for us, the fact that he comes in week after week and then believes in us, it's almost inspiring. He never wavers. He never loses faith in us. Every week he recharges and comes back in and attacks us and challenges us, the same way as last week, and he never loses hope. So it's kind of easy for us to fall suit when, the coaching staff isn't finger pointing at us. Coaching staff isn't blaming the players. Everybody's still believing, and it's a positive message consistently. And I feel like so when that's going on in the building, just nothing but positive energy, it's kind of hard, and obviously we all human. Frustration can sink in. Then, Coach talks about it being okay to be frustrated, but just having negative thoughts and negative energy, bro, it's not none of that over here. Just typical SAS, a lot of different offensive formations, a lot of different offensive personnels, a lot of 2-back, a lot of 3-back, a lot of pulling, a lot of power game, a lot of run. So for us, it's just really about stopping the run, winning on first downs. You know what Cody can do, scrambler type of guy. So for us, it's just really about just winning first downs, kind of trying to contain him, keep him in the pocket.
And that is Micah Johnson getting set to go up against his former team in the Rough Riders this week. One more piece of sound before we get to our guest, the Hamilton Spectator, Steve Milton. We had a chance to catch up with Tyler Ternowski, a good Hamilton boy. He still, I confirmed with this, he's been working with the Ticats mentorship program, but he's also just coaching at Sir Alan McNabb and has such a passion for his high school and for what he does. I had to ask, whether even 2 years into this thing, being a part of this team, does he still take a moment, stop and realize how far he's come to be playing basically in his backyard? Here's what he had to say to that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that kind of moment happens for me more in the warm-ups and when we run out through the tunnel to start the game. But once you cross that white line for that first play, it's football. Same level that I've been playing since I was a little kid. It's still ball. That's kind of what I was actually talking to people last night about kind of the Grey Cup and how overwhelming emotions can kind of negate your play at sometimes. So me thinking that mindset of it's just ball at the end of the day, it's just football. So I don't want to get in that big moments in my head, Honestly, I wouldn't say anything he has really changed differently. He was still a dog at the week 1 to week 16, 17 or 15 now. It's still that same dog. It's just unfortunate plays that didn't go our way. And I wouldn't say that he hasn't really changed. He's still the same guy. We're just executing better now as a whole group as an offense too. So, oh yeah, Key's grown, not just as a player, but as a man. In the past few months he's been here, everyone sees it, everyone knows it, and it's awesome to see. And the play after Montreal, that was just another growth spurt that everyone's got to go through. Kind of he was just trying to make a play, maybe not the right scenario to try and make that play, but that's a first year player. He's just got to learn, and that's all right. Learning moments, it sucks that it happened when it did, but you can't really control that. But no, the confidence that not only our group has in him, but the team has in him, he knows it. So it was bro, you're good. Keon's just confident as anyone. So he's good. He's good. Yeah, Tim's just a dog. He's a freak athlete. Got the speed and explosiveness of a cheetah, I swear. But no, he's that guy that he won't really he won't post nothing about him working. He won't really talk about him working. He'll just go out and play. And that's what we need. We need ballers, and Tim's a baller. So, yeah, it's nice having that around.
And that's Tyler Ternowski as we caught up with him after practice today. All right, very pleased now to be joined by the Hamilton Spectator, Steve Milton. And Milty, we heard it from Coach O, confirming that there's some urgency. We heard it from Micah Johnson there, confirming that they're treating this like a playoff game. This is a must-win game for the Tiger Cats, is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely must win. I mean, if you take a look at it, they got a game in hand. Hamilton has a game in hand. So if they win that one, they sort of only have to really make up that game in hand, and they'll prevent the crossover and get third place, assuming that they have to win it. Yeah, they take care of business. They pretty well, if they win out, they're in, right? But there's been no evidence that they're going to win 4 in a row. 2 in a row, let alone 4 in a row, Louie.
Dan put it yesterday. He's they got to win on the road. They haven't even done that this year.
No, yeah, I mean, it's
an anomaly team. You've covered this team a few years. We've done this together now for 7 or 8 years. Mm-hmm. This one seems different. I mean, the bad teams were bad. This
isn't. I mean, I would say the 1997 team. You saw some hopes. That was a 2-16 team, but the defense was so good. You thought if they could get any kind of offense, they might be okay. You didn't really know, but I couldn't have come close to predicting this is where they'd be at. It sort of started to fall apart on the first day with the turnovers and big mistakes, and the same kind of second half, fourth quarter falter, and it's just continued right up until what game was that? What was the last one? 14th, yeah, 14th game. So that's where they're sitting right now, and they've earned their 4-10 by what they've done. Not necessarily the talent that's on the roster, and they have been hit hard by injuries, but so have a lot of teams.
Reason to be encouraged. going into this game? Reason to be optimistic from what you've seen these days in practice?
I would say the way they're blocking on the offensive line, and by that I would also include whoever's playing in the backfield. There's 3 or 4 different guys that have been in the backfield that have come up. They've added extra tight ends at times. I'd probably like to see them do it more often. I think they should have done it more often in the Montreal game in the second half. And Dane has played 2 pretty good games in a row, so I think he's feeling pretty good about himself. You're getting. It looks like Anthony Johnson back. We won't know for sure probably till the day before the game, and that's a big thing because he's big.
I was about to say you might remember him from the fumble on his first catch, but later that game he made a great touchdown, and it cannot be understated that especially Dane, who has mentioned it before, that offensive line sometimes looking over them, he appreciates a big body out there.
Yeah, and especially when he has to change his throwing angles or look from the side or underneath. You're right. When teams try to fill a lane against a guy like the passing lane. They do against everybody, but particularly against a guy like against Dane. And you saw when he had the last good game that he was able to avoid that, and to have an extra tall receiver will help on that one too. I think he likes throwing to him. He can see him. The guy's got good experience. He's tough. He's going to be hungry. Now, whether all those games off, I don't think he's played in 7 weeks or something like that, maybe 8. So that could make some difference.
Speaking of making some difference, a lot of people had him locked in as the most outstanding special teams player the first few weeks. We've seen him back out here the last couple of days. Coach obviously not making a determination on him, but we're talking about Lawrence Woods here. That would be huge, wouldn't it?
Be massive, and they, as you and I were talking before, off mic. I'm not sure the return by committee thing works. I think people got to get in the groove. I think everybody's got to know who's back there catching the ball, who's got it on the offside kick, and all of those kinds of things, on the weak side kick, all of those kinds of things. And I mean, he was really on his way to what was probably going to be, certainly out of the East, and maybe for the whole league, a hands-down victory for Special Teams Player of the Year. And when you talk to him privately, he says, well, I still got 4 more games to add to that. and when you look at his yardage, his combined yardage, and he doesn't have a single yard from scrimmage. And it's just pretty amazing what he'd been doing. It was a threat to score every time. And really, I think you got to be sure you can, you want to have that return team. They've been hit so hard by injuries, both on coverage and return, that I don't think they've really been able to count on them for some of the big plays that they'd hoped to make this year.
Sometimes when a trade happens, especially at this point of the season, there's a little bit of shock or surprise. You and I just kind of shrugged when an email came through this morning. That being Alden Darby, obviously, just didn't fit here.
Yeah, I'll miss him. He was terrific to have around. I mean, it's great for us, and you can see with his teammates, really good teammate. Never really got down with the fact that he was always the odd man left out. He got hit hard by the DI situation. I think he would have been the DI many, many more times, or DA, I guess they're calling it now, designated American. But because they're using an American kicker, they had to go. They didn't have the spot for a defensive backfield. That's 2 defensive backfielders in a week. I mean, Desmond Lawrence as well, right? So that have left, and tells you about something about the depth of that they've got on the team, and that perhaps that Evans potentially could be ready to come back shortly. But I mean. It's a very talented group, but I think they've got to firm up a little bit too, particularly in the fourth quarter. They've let some things happen in the second half of many games in the last half of the season that shouldn't be happening.
Before I let you go here, Melty, Danny Mac, I know you've connected with him. I mean, we've seen these celebrations, with the Grey Cup here. There was the reunion in 2019, that 20-year reunion. But I mean, to actually see Danny Mac, to see that name go up on the Wall of Honor, especially for someone who remembers those days. What do you think?
Well, sometimes it surprised me, and I told him that when I was talking to him earlier in the week, that he played here 7 years, I think, and was brilliant for certainly the first 4 of those. I mean 8 years straight, I think, with 4,000 yards. Rebounded from the bankruptcy season when they were 1-17, and that only win was in overtime. Didn't have a good year that year. Next year, threw for 5,000 yards, second time in his career, and that was really near the end of it because he only had really another year left in him. And he always considered Hamilton home. From the day he got here, it wasn't in the story that I'm writing about him, but he talked a lot about He knew when Lancaster got here, and Lancaster said that defense is good enough that if we get any kind of offense, we can win the Grey Cup. And that Lancaster, this was so close to his home in Pennsylvania that he knew that Lancaster would be here for a while. So when he and Flutie were talking about, Darren Flutie and he were talking about, they said, this could be a long-term home of something really good happening. He actually felt they should have won more times than they did. They probably should have been in the Grey Cup 3 years in a row. They beaten out, in 2000 team. That's when Danny had just an astounding season that year.
Yeah. To that point, I mean, he really embraced the community aspect of this and loved going out. The hospital. He always, that's one of the first things he always talks about is being able to be a part of this community.
Very much a feet on the ground guy.
Still to this day.
Yeah. Orlando was talking about him earlier, teammate. And how he was touched. And I had related to O that when I talked to Danny, he talked about when they won the Grey Cup in 1999, the thing that he liked the most was watching the guys from the 97 team, which included Orlando, who had been 2-17, except that's how far they came in 2 years, really in 1 year, because they could have won the Grey Cup the year before. They lost it on the last play. So, and Orlando got almost a little choked up about it to hear it. So that's so Danny, that's so feet on the ground, that's who he is, cares about a lot of people. He didn't mind driving the bus, but he didn't want anybody to know who was driving the bus.
I talked about this with Tony Gabriel too. It's really the Bob Young era. We talk about that a lot here, but the effort that they've made to reconnect to the alumni, it's been noticed and appreciated by the alumni, at least the ones I've talked to.
Yeah, and that was a big thing with Young right from the start. And at first, when he talked about it, I thought, oh boy, come on, like what were you selling something here from 1984 or something? But really, he was onto something. He recognized the value of a lot of things that were going on around here, and one of which was the sort of goodwill in the community that the team players had always had here, and that it wasn't being maximized in any way, not just monetarily, but in goodwill, which is, I guess, monetarily in a way it turns into something, and you can see what it's turned into. I think there's still more, I think they can still do more, but they do what they can for the alumni here, and I think the alumni are very thankful, and therefore it creates a continuity. One of the problems here had been partly because of ownership over the years, and you see it now. You see when they're 4-10. I don't know how many emails you get, but I get a zillion saying they got to fire this guy, that guy, that guy, that guy. And I look at it and say, well, that's the whole organization. So that's a complete disregard for the problems of the past here, and those that repeat history or want history repeated will of course repeat it, and if they don't learn the lessons, and that is continuity matters, and that you can see that in the Alumni Association.
All the emails calling on the media, the manager of media, to quit. Those are from me though. So as he sits beside us here, Milty, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Okay, Louie.
And my thanks to Steve Milton for joining me today, and my thanks to you as well, because you know what, we could not do the show without your support. So we very much appreciate it. You could win a trip to the Ticats October 29th away game in Ottawa with Journey Rewards. Simply hit ticats.ca/journey-rewards to enter to win 2 tickets on Via Rail, hotel and game tickets, plus a chance at other prizes, including an autographed Ticats jersey or $250 gift card to the Ticats shop. Go on the road with the Ticats to Ottawa with Journey Rewards. All right, that'll do it for me today. That'll actually do it for me this week. I'm off the rest of the week. RJ Broadhead will be filling in. Looking forward to hearing what RJ's got, and looking forward to reconnecting with you guys, our loyal listeners, after this weekend's game. Should be a lot of fun. And in the meantime, make sure to check back tomorrow, same time, same place, same show, different host, with RJ, and produced by David Butko. So I'll leave that with them, and should be a great time. You can catch me later this week on a brand new episode of Speaking with the Enemy, and just a shameless self-promotion here. You can catch us, the CHCH Morning Live. We're on the road. We're in Kitchener on Thursday for Oktoberfest, so that's where I'll be if you're looking for me, and hopefully I still have a voice by then. On behalf of all of us here, I'm Louie Butko, hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today can be heard every weekday, and we would like to hear from you. Email us at gameday@ticats.ca. Have a question or an opinion? We want to hear it. That's gameday@ticats.ca. Subscribe to the Ticats Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.